Dan Humphrey has shown traits of introversion throughout the series of Gossip Girl. Humphrey attended a private elite high school in Manhattan and was surrounded by privileged and snobby students. Dan is commonly referred to as Lonely Boy for being socially awkward and for not attending parties or gatherings like the other popular and wealthy people in his school. He is portrayed as an outsider as he is from a low to middle class family from Brooklyn, whereas everyone else in his school lives in the Upper East Side, an affluent area in Manhattan. He feels most left out when he begins to have a crush on Serena van der Woodsen, a popular girl in his school who is known for her good looks and charisma. Introversion comes from Hans Eysenck theory on two dimensions of higher order traits: extroversion versus introversion. Introverts are more reserved and withdrawn with their inner thoughts and feelings. They are more passive, quiet, and shy. Dan checks off all signs of introversion throughout the first few seasons of the show. He later slowly breaks out of his shell as his love for van der Woodsen continues. Adler's theory of individual psychology accurately aligns with introversion. According to Adler's theory, each of us are born into the world with a sense of inferiority. He stated that all people struggle with striving for superiority, known as compensation, which is attempting to overcome real or imagined inferiorities. He saw this as the driving force behind all human thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This applies to Humphrey because he was an outsider and had the desire to fit in and become part of Serena van der Woodsen's exciting world. He strived for superiority by creating an anonymous gossip website known as Gossip Girl.
The Upper East Side was like something from Fitzgerald or Thackeray. Teenagers acting like adults. Adults acting like teenagers, guarding secrets, spreading gossip, all with the trappings of truly opulent wealth. And membership in this community was so elite you couldn't even buy your way in. It was a birthright I didn't have, and my greatest achievements would never earn me. All I had to compare to this world was what I'd read in books, but that gave me the idea. If I wasn't born into this world, maybe I could write myself into it. I'd overheard enough conversations to be able to mimic the language of the Constance girls, but every writer needs his muse. And it wasn't until that photo of Serena in the white dress that I knew I had something strong enough to actually create a legend, launch a website. Within weeks, I was getting dozens of emails with stories about Upper East Siders, so I posted them anonymously. And then, I got more. Before long, it was a monster. Everyone was sending tips.
I am so back.
And when Serena came back from boarding school, I wrote my first post about me. Lonely Boy. The outsider, the underdog. I might have been a joke, but at least people were talking about me.
Until the last episode, no one knew Gossip Girl's identity, but everyone in this exclusive circle relied on her website and text messages for gossip. Although it was anonymous, Humphrey achieved his goal of being superior as the Manhattan's elite relied on his posts for the latest scoop. The second trait that Dan is presented with is conscientiousness. Humphrey is one of the most intelligent characters on the show. He has a passion for poetry and literature and spends much of his time secretly writing a book on his friends' lives. Throughout his high school years, he showed dedication towards his academics, unlike his wealthy friends who he began to spend time with after dating Serena. As high school came to an end, Dan and his friends began thinking about colleges. Serena and her clique already knew they were bound to go to a prestigious school as their families would use their wealth to get their child into the school of their likings. Dan, however, does not have this privilege and works extremely hard to earn a spot at an Ivy school. But his spot is given to his friend Nate Archibald, who is not studious but is also at the top of the social hierarchy along with Serena. This comes in the way of Dan's success and frustrates him.
Oh, angry guy, huh?
Short fuse, I'm trying to work on that.
Well, let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
It's a tough week.
Not for me, apparently.
Oh, you got an usher position?
No, I didn't. In an ironic, though not totally unexpected twist, Nate got the one I wanted.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I guess that's life when you're not a legacy.
Well, hey, just because you're not an usher doesn't mean you're not going to get into an Ivy.
Yeah? Where'd your parents go to school?
Harvard and Brown.
That's all I'm saying. You want to go to Yale, then?
No, Brown. It's just this thing with Blair.
I get it. I mean, since you don't have to actually worry about getting into college, why not make the entire evening about screwing over Blair?
No, thanks.
Conscientiousness comes from the Big Five theory. Each trait in the Big Five lies on a continuum. Dan is clearly depicted as organized, responsible, and dedicated to completing tasks when it comes to academics and achieving his goals. I believe that Dan's conscientiousness can be explained through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is organized by priority. The fourth point on the pyramid is esteem for oneself, whether it be through dignity, achievement, mastery, or independence. Dan is motivated to succeed and is determined to get into a prestigious college that he has earned for. The topmost point on the pyramid is the self-actualization needs, in which one realizes personal potential, self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth, and peak experiences.
Going to be fun.
I'm sorry to call everyone here on such short notice, but, all right, you know how there's been all this speculation about the book that's being published by an anonymous author?
Yeah, Gossip Girl said it was about us.
Yeah, it was probably written by some loser who doesn't even know us.
Well, not exactly. I am that loser. I wrote it. And it is based on you, sort of. All of you.
Looks like it's going to be a hot time in this old town tonight. Let's just hope Lonely Boy and his book don't go up in flames.
For Dan, his self-actualization need was met when he published the book about his friends from the Upper East Side that exposed all their secrets, despite it hurting his friendships. His book was one of the best sellers, and this proves that he was patient and hardworking along the process. It was the first time where Dan Humphrey, who was once considered an outsider and a lonely boy, became acknowledged and respected by many great authors, and finally achieved his hopes and ambitions.